NintenTalk.com production.
Episode 74 of the Planet Nintendo podcast. Let's see what's on the menu for today. We have P and Picks, what games we've been playing, what games are coming out soon. Playing our favorite game, Over Under. We have a couple giveaways for you guys that will spread out throughout the show. But the main topic, Labo VR. Is it cool? We got some predictions. Happy Mario Day, guys. Where does Super Mario go from here? Modernizing Nintendo franchises and possibly a bonus topic. So let's get it started with the best co-host on the planet, Mr. Bobby, the Nintendo Guru.
Man, it only takes a guy to go to California for me to get top billing. I like it. I like what we're doing here. Stay in California, Joe. You're helping me out, bro. No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's
I'm
one
good.
way to do it. And joining the podcast once again is Mr. Bad Bit Games. What's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up? Nice. Thank you for having me. I was gonna go with you. Should have went with Joe after work, and I should have just played it off like I was Joe. And something really tragic happened, you know. But no, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So, guys, you might be scratching your heads here. If you didn't hear last episode, we have switched to a all live format, so you get to enjoy the beautiful sound of Bobby's voice for 2 hours now.
I don't know about all that.
And every week we'll be having a new guest on here. Babbitt's going to be the first guest. And yeah, we're going to be doing more topics and maybe some new segments coming up soon. Tonight, in particular, we have 2 giveaways. I'll do one after we play Over and Under, and then one at the very end. A couple indie games, a couple cool games that just came out, actually. So, but I think we should get started with some PM picks. Badbit, I got to ask, are you playing your Switch right now? You have any?
So I wanted to prepare because recently I've been playing a lot of Devil May Cry 5.
Okay.
Excellent, by the way. Video out tomorrow on Bad Day Games. I was just playing Apex Legends with the great Rybo Flavins himself. We got a couple of victories. Don't like to brag. But you guys said on twitch.tv/Babbitt. But you guys wanted me on. I was like, I have to play some Nintendo. So I picked up this little game because of a good man named Garrett Bland. Wargroove. It is dope, guys. I'm really liking it so far. I'm a little ways in, like less than 2 hours into the game, but it is really awesome the way that it's teaching you, and it also lets you fail at things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I failed in like the 3rd or 4th mission. They're like, we don't care, start over. I'm like, I dig that. I dig it. I love strategy games. I love games like Fire Emblem. This takes it a little further, makes it a little bit harder for you, a little bit more strategy in this game.
Yep.
I'm really digging it though. I'm digging it.
So was it Garrett's review that got you to buy it?
Well, I bought it when it came out, about like a few days afterwards, and I bought it for $4 because of the awesome. I buy everything digital. I don't mess with physical when it comes to the Switch. So I because of all the coins you get. I purchased that for $4, and because of If We Ran Nintendo, the small little podcast, one of the co-hosts is all right, and the other one's Canadian. They brought Garrett on, and the way he was talking about it, I was like, okay, I really do need to play this game, and really do need to try it out. So I did. I'm happy I did, dude. It's really fun. It's really good, actually. So yeah.
Have you messed with the like the creative thing, the customizable?
No, but that really excites me. Like being able to make your own campaign. I already see how you're able to make your own stories. That excites me. I always love the like create your own worlds in like games like Age of Empires. They let you do that. So yeah, I'll be definitely trying that out. This is a game I know I'm going to beat, but it's going to take over the span of this year to do. You know, It's a nice pickup and like play a good 10-15 minutes here or there. For sure.
Okay. Bobby, what about you, man?
For me, I've been playing Dead Cells. I've been jumping into Dead Cells again and really, really digging it and enjoying it. And can't complain, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I picked up RBI Baseball 19. Did a review on it. It's fun for a handheld offering. I'm gonna be picking up the show later this month, but also got back into Zelda a little bit. So that's my.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. What's everybody going back to this thing?
Real quick. Can we pause for 1 second? I gotta do something because Rybo's saying the audio is way out of sync, and I don't understand why that's happening. So, is it? I just want to know, is it out of sync for everybody else? Because it's got me paused for a minute, and that's why I'm a little jammed up. Is it out of sync for like you guys talk so we can?
Yeah, is it?
It looks fine to me for you.
Is it out of sync? I don't.
Okay, it's Rybo. It's his trash. Okay, let me jump back into Dead Cells first because I totally skimmed over that because Rybo had me screwed up and scared. Okay, so I know. So what I did was I jumped back in and I started playing Dead Cells and really, truly started paying much more attention to what I was doing and not realizing like there's an elixir that you can hit, kind of like Pat and with the bomb, whatever. And anyway, so
demonetized.
I didn't say anything. So what happens is, but it actually brings your life back, and it's helped me get a little bit further. I am so close to beating the boss on the bridge, and I just can't do. And he's driving me crazy because I just get to that point, and then he hits me with a shot, and it knocks me out, and I'm like, ugh, and I got to start all over again.
Turrets.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned in that game.
Yeah, I've been dropping those. I was dropping the turrets and kind of staying back and letting them do the thing and kind of swinging back and forth. But like, oh my god, dude, it's mind numbing. But the game is so fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fast. It's fluid. A lot of good stuff going on. But it's really good. It's really good.
God.
I bought Dead Cells, but I haven't got into it yet, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I've been playing Zelda. I don't really know why, to be honest. So I'm in this weird like lull right now where there's a lot of games at the end of this month that I want to play, but I don't want to get sucked into something too big. Of course, I play Zelda, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around with it. I tried to replay it like a second playthrough like a couple months ago. I couldn't get into it, but now it's a little better. I just got off the plateau, but I spent way too long on there. So.
Dude, I gotta say this. I have to.
Roast us, Joe. Roast us.
This whole like, oh, it's been 2 years since The Legend of Zelda came out. Oh god, it's the most epic thing. Like, come on, guys. It was a game. Like, I love Bloodborne a lot. Look at the statue. Game of the generation. I can't tell you when it came out. Four years ago? Question mark. Like, calm down. I'll need to settle down with this.
Joe, let me. Is anyone talking about Horizon still? Okay, guys. So let's go to over
actually,
under.
Funny thing. Oh no, it celebrated 10 million units sold.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
So is that right in line with Breath of the Wild?
Sold more than it.
You want to compare attach rates?
Yeah. Sure, I don't know what that means.
Maybe you don't know what that means. That means how many units are in the wild versus how many games have sold, and then what's the percentage?
Well, it's pretty easy when you come out with a system that literally only has one game worth.
What are you
of
talking about, man?
You know?
What are you talking about? Smash! Listen,
Well, yeah,
listen. I'm sorry. 2 years to sell 12 million units, while Smash did it in a month. Like, please. Stay in your lane there.
Do you know how many units the Switch outsold the PlayStation 4 by in February? Like 5,000. Slow your roll.
What are you talking about?
You're doing fine. All right?
What are you talking about?
This is Pat's show. Let him fucking.
This is why I brought you on.
Because you know what? He needs somebody to put you in check. You're running roughshod over there on that Trophy Room podcast, taking shots whenever you get a chance. He needs someone like me, like your father, that can shut you down.
And we haven't even got to Labo yet, folks.
I'm ready for that one. Get ready for that one.
So Botox saying Breath of the Wild sold 12 million. So I don't know. We should look that up.
Well, you know what? That's fake news.
Breath of the Wild sold 12 million? Did it really?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought it only sold 6.
You know,
it might have.
No,
I thought Mario Kart was still. I don't know.
Maybe combined with the Wii U. Remember that console, Bobby?
Oh, you know what? That is possible. Maybe it is combined with the Wii U numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, great games. Great games sell well, Joe. Just gotta tell you, great games sell well.
It's true.
They do.
Surprising. Look at that.
Okay.
Can't climb anything. You're just jumping around like an idiot trying to get up a wall.
Oh, look at me.
Children.
I'm climbing a mountain.
Hey,
oh no!
It's beautiful stuff, man. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Legend of Rain. Okay, so let's go over to Over Under. Everyone's favorite podcast game, podcast mini game. Yeah. So basically, I have 5 scenarios. Mr. Bobby and Mr. Joe do not know these scenarios. I'm going to give them a percentage, how likely or how unlikely these scenarios are, and they're going to say over or under. Easy enough. I am going to start with Bobby. 50%, 50% chance, and I would love if the chat participated too. 50% chance we see another Zelda release this year. Already getting Link's Awakening. Could we see another one?
Another Zelda release this year? 0% chance. Move on. Go ahead, Bad Bit. What are you, insane, dude? Yeah, no. What game are we going to get this year?
Whoa. You don't think they could throw out a port?
No.
New game?
They're already doing that. It's called Link's Awakening. They're not going to... If they're going to save a port, it'll be for 2020. It's not... They're not coming out with something this year. Get out of here. You used to actually bring questions. I used to think about this stuff.
Ouch. So guys, if you are in the podcast business, you would like a position, we have a chair that we could fill there. Okay, so 0%. I am sorry for asking the question. Bad Bit, we have a question for you. So this was posted by Nintendo Life. They posted a little article about a all digital Switch version. 10% chance, because I think it's kind of low. 10% chance we see an all digital Switch revision, most likely like the Switch Mini or something. So no cartridge slot at all.
Man, Nintendo likes to be unoriginal and copy from Sony, every now and again. Play PSP Go, that beautiful console.
Are you serious right now?
Beautiful digital console.
Are you serious right now? I just went to my Best Buy today. They had 60 PlayStation Classics laying on the shelf. They can't even give the things away for free.
Listen, what are those PlayStation Amiibo things called? Anyway,
and they're wonderful. Look at
exactly. You can't even find it. It's buried in trash.
Let me show you this. Right? You see this? Game of the generation. God. Can you play Bloodborne on a Switch? No, you can't.
That poor guy still has it in the box.
Nobody
10% chance we see an all digital, no card slot Switch. Mr. Joseph.
I would like to see one, to be honest. I don't know. Less than 10% chance, you said?
10% chance we do get it. So that's pretty low.
No, we're not going to get it. Not now. That's years away. I think when the tech's super, super cheap, you could just throw the cheapest thing out there like Labo, and hopefully people buy it. I don't see it, though, being... I don't see it yet.
Yeah.
I would
We're not ready for that.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
I mean,
and also go
ahead.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely going to see a Switch Lite. That's a given. We'll see that this year. Yeah. But there is no way possible that thing is digital only. Like, that just makes no sense whatsoever. I don't think Nintendo is ready to be the one to take the leap with that. Because you think about it this way. There is such argument, even amongst us, people that have a Switch and love a Switch, about digital versus physical. Like, we're not even on board all the way with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about 95% digital now. The only thing I buy physical is collector's editions. But I'll be damned if I'm going to buy a digital-only machine and then miss out on, collector's editions. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I think it does make a little sense, though, because, like, you think of who, the market that's going to buy this. So it's going to be younger kids. Mm-hmm. And the carts are little, man. I know Nintendo wants us to lose, but it's kind of appealing to have a kid, like, not worry about carts at all, have a little machine that they can do. No, no moving parts, no Joy-Cons, coming off or anything. You have all digital game. I can see why it would make sense. Is it going to happen?
But you have to think about GameStop. You got to think about Best Buy, Amazon. Why are they carrying?
Yeah, they're not ready to cut the cord on them yet.
No, they don't want to, especially GameStop. And GameStop and Nintendo, they're close with each other, man. They don't want to break that partnership up.
Yeah, not yet anyway. Like, they probably got it. They probably got about 5 years, I think. I really truly believe in about 5 to 10 years we'll move all digital. The other thing too, Pat, is you got to remember is, man, we're still in that phase where the internet just isn't there in the United States. Now, I could see them doing a Switch Lite in Japan and being all digital because their internet just rocks, but not here in the United States. And I think even in Europe it's worse than it is here. So it's just not feasible, I think.
That's socialism.
And also, like, I've been hearing this come up a lot, like digital Switch, and people are like, oh, Nintendo would have to make it 500 gigs or a terabyte. There's no way they're going to do that. They're going to give you the same model, the same storage, and then give you like a 16 gigabyte SD card and be like, have fun, guys. Look at all the room you have, because they're not thinking of, they're not thinking of like third-party games taking up all the space. They're like, we want you to play our beautifully compressed Nintendo games that we won't tell anyone else how we do it. So 16 gigabytes to them is like 5 games.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. That's the biggest problem. Like, how are you playing LA Noire? You're not. That's what, 30 gigs or something? Like, that's a crazy number.
You shouldn't be doing that to yourself.
Well, I'm just saying hypothetically. Like, there's games like, I think Doom is pretty decent, but I think Wolfenstein wasn't that small. And there's a lot of other games that are coming that just aren't small. Like those Resident Evil games, they don't compress them. I mean, you got 3 games and it's like, they can't, it's a 16 gig cart and they're refusing to put it on a 16 gig cart. So I think we got, some issues there.
So not going too deep into this, but say you take off the IR sensor, say you take off the cartridge slot, the Joy-Cons are built into this like Switch Lite. How low could they get that price though? Could they go under 200?
easily. Because you figure
If
now,
they take out all the bells and whistles.
well, because you got to figure you're charging $300 for an hour, right? And if you did the light, you're not going to be including a dock, so there's $80 right there. You're eliminating the power cord and the HDMI and the USB, like that stuff's all gone, right? So you don't need none of that. There's $80 right off the top. Then you're taking away the IR sensor, and then you're taking away, like, dude, and if they did do the cartridge, man, I'm thinking 150 to 200 somewhere in there is the sweet spot, and I think it's a no brainer at that point. It just moves.
That's I would buy one just for like on the go indie games or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bobby, back to you. This is Bobby's speed right here. 65% chance Animal Crossing gets its own direct.
Absolutely.
Rather than being
100%.
featured in a Nintendo.
100%. Because they're going to want to, if they are smart, I think they go E3, they show a very short snippet, because this game doesn't show well to the people that aren't into Animal Crossing. It doesn't really sell them when you show the game. So basically you just want to show it, 30-second minute trailer, done, move on. Just tell people the name, when it's launching, and we got more we're going to talk about in the next month or so. And then you do a full-on, 10, 15-minute direct where they just break it down, show us what new is coming, what you can do, what you can't do, all that stuff, and then that's where they do it. Because if you think about it, when they did Welcome Amiibo, they had its own direct, and it was just specially for that game. I think that's the way they go. I think it's a mistake to just really deep dive in this. Now, E3, they'll probably do Treehouse Live with it and all that stuff. I don't think I'm not considering that a separate direct. I'm considering that just part of the overall showcase. But I do think I want to say it's almost 100% a bit high. I'm going to say probably about 80 to 85% high that we'll get a direct. Definitely, that's Animal Crossing.
Bad bit. What are you thinking, man?
I'll give it a 69% chance.
Ooh, I like it. Spicy.
Ladies.
A lot of ladies watch this show.
Dude, tons of them. We got Joe after work right there.
Oh, wow. Dude. The guy's not here.
I think it's high. I think it's pretty high. Now, bonus thing. Maybe we can come back to this episode. Let's guess the length of the direct. How long would this Animal Crossing? So the Pokemon was 7 minutes. Didn't really go too much in depth, but I feel like Animal Crossing a little bit more involved. I'll say 9 minutes.
I think 10 to 15 minutes. So I would say we'll go 13 minutes.
Wow. Okay. There is a lot of moving parts. I will say.
Yeah. See, I'm not into doing chores, so I'm not into Animal Crossing. I have no idea about these games. I just know they're for dweebs and for nerds. So I'm gonna say there's.
I'm about to disconnect him from this call, man. Legit.
Bobby, I've told you I'm gonna buy this game.
I'm real disappointed in you and these attacks
or whatever. I'm gonna build a house. What is it that they want you to do in that game?
Never mind. Don't get it.
Yeah, no, I think 9 to 10 minutes around there. It's a lot. You really have to Pokemon. You don't need to sell anybody on Pokemon. It's Pokemon, right? Ryan Reynolds is in it. So when it comes to Animal Crossing, though, you really have to give those fans something. They haven't had anything in years. Let's not count that mobile game. They haven't had anything, so I think they deserve a little something.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a big release too, so definitely important. Yeah, I'm going to go 9 minutes. Okay, back to Bad Bit, and we need you specifically for this one. I have no idea. 15% chance Apex Legends ever makes it to the Switch.
All right, here you go, boys. Drop me in. We're gonna drop in Skulltown on this one. Absolutely, 110% chance this thing's coming to the Switch. Yeah, the engine runs on old Source Engine tech, so we're talking about games like Half-Life 3. Or sorry, it's confirmed, guys. I know. Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike. So with that type of engine, I think it can happen. And with the amount of money it's making, it's no way in hell EA is not already put funds towards putting it somewhere on the Switch. Now, is it going to be good and will it have crossplay? I hope for you guys. I pray to
Probably like
Miyamoto-san that
30
it doesn't
FPS.
happen. Yeah, because you guys would be screwed. That's the other thing too. Apex Legends has to run at 60 FPS. That's just been a staple from Respawn ever since they were they were Infinity Ward. So this thing has to run at 60. If it's running at 30, it is not crossplay. And honestly, God, I don't think you guys want crossplay for this game. You guys are gonna get destroyed. You know how obliterated you guys are on Fortnite? I drop in there, face away from the screen. I'm racking up kills, you know. So no, yeah, I think Apex Legends is coming, but it's gonna be a little bit more watered down. Yeah.
Okay.
This guy,
Bobby,
guy.
I don't think you've played. You've never played, right?
It's just not a game I could play. But my thing is though is, man, do you really think it can run on a Switch?
Sure.
That's surprising.
Yeah, man, that thing looks really polished. I think it's gonna be.
No, it looks like shit.
Really?
Do it. Yeah, no, the game's not that pretty.
Oh wow, okay.
You could definitely.
I mean,
yeah, it's not. It's.
I guess
you know.
when I see more realistic games, I think it doesn't look or hold up. You know, when you see a game like Fortnite, like I think that works because it's very cartoony, and everything is going to be smooth and such.
Also, can I curse?
No,
I said shit. Like,
yeah, well, and you just said it again.
not.
Like, why would you curse?
Family friendly.
All right. Shit. Yeah, no,
Family friendly, man.
I think
What the hell's going on here?
I think it's an older. It's because it's an older engine. Because I mean, yeah, we've seen games like Fortnite on it, and I don't think prettier necessarily means. I don't think this. Look, you take a look at Fortnite on the Switch to the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One for that matter. It looks like garbage, but
Wow,
it plays on the Switch. It's functional on the Switch. It's smooth on the Switch. So as long as they have it running and it's smooth.
Okay, so the question is Apex running on mobile?
No.
But
not
are they
right
talking
now.
about it?
Not right now. I was actually kind of talking about this on the trophy room, I believe, a few weeks back at iTunes. Anyway, and I just don't know how a game like that goes mobile because of the pinging system. Also, Respawn isn't familiar with mobile platforms, so they would have to get another studio on Apex to have that running. So I don't know if the infrastructure for EA is there.
You know,
but I do think it's I think it can happen on
the one. Okay, before I get into one thing, the other night we were playing Fortnite, and you were saying like the pinging wasn't working, dude. It actually worked very well. Yeah, you just point and you just down on the button, and it and then you hit it like once. It does
like
on the D-pad, and then you hit it again, and it'll be like an enemy. Like you'll see it turn red and stuff. Like so, you can ping stuff very fluidly on what you want to do.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like
No. I'm just saying on the Switch. No. I'm just talking about Fortnite has pinging now, and it because the other night we were talking about it, and we were struggling to figure out how it worked.
Yeah.
But that said, that's irrelevant. Man, I think that if they want this game to be a juggernaut, then I think they need to follow. I mean, I'm not saying Fortnite wasn't a juggernaut prior to Switch,
right,
but I think it really truly exploded with the Switch because it brought in crossplay, and I think if they bring it to Switch, they have to offer crossplay and just zone Sony out again until Sony wakes up and stops playing with their ball in the corner and says, "Okay, we're gonna play nice."
I honestly, God, I would feel really bad for you, Switch people.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
No, I know. I've always believed though, like when we're talking about Xbox versus Sony and the online matches, Xbox is better, or PlayStation better. There is a stern difference when I see Nintendo players. Like I know a Nintendo player when I see one. Because you guys just aren't used to those type of games, and that's not a swipe at anybody. But when I'm thinking of, first off, I don't know if they said that crossplay is out of the question. Or
I got a kid that'll run circles around you, man. Ghost Kevin will house you.
You said that.
Ghost Kevin will wreck shop with you.
Out. I took Kevin.
There is a noticeable difficulty.
Yeah, there is there's
it's
definite
easier on Switch.
a down.
I mean, I hope it makes it over because like
I hope
some
so.
people just have the Switch, so it's like I see why the port would come over. But yeah, performance wise, it's a mixed bag because games like Smite run really
Yeah.
well. I feel like Paladins ran well, so
I want
Yeah,
to,
someone in the chat, let us know what engine.
but I also want to say this too to defend the Nintendo players. You guys had it a year before on Fortnite, so like, I mean, if you're playing the game a year prior, like you should be better. Don't sure like that. You know it's true. You had the game for a year before everybody else did.
also you got to think 60
Yeah.
FPS in Fortnite is
Yeah.
huge. 30.
It needs again, graphical fidelity means crap when it comes to can this game run
Yeah.
smooth? And if Apex Legends can run smooth on the Switch,
Yeah,
it's happening.
because
Yeah.
Fortnite
But
doesn't
again-
run smooth all the time. There are
Yeah. But I'm not gonna pretend I know any
Yeah.
type of thing about coding, how that
yeah.
crap works. So
Yeah.
I just know I think it can happen if we get in games like Fortnite, like Wolfenstein. We can get.
I mean, like Doom is 60, right? And Doom looks unbelievable.
Doom runs
Yeah.
good.
So I
Yeah.
think there's a possibility for it.
Okay, and then the last one to Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
and then this will kind of go into the main meat and potatoes of this podcast. 70% chance, 7-0, that Labo VR outsells the other kits combined.
I think Labo VR outsells the PSVR and Oculus Rift in the first month. No, I think.
Whoa.
I think. No, stop. No, I think it will sell better combined. No, I think it'll sell. I think it'll sell relatively well. I think it'll probably sell the best of all the kits, just out of curiosity, because I think what happens with this kit as compared to the other kits, you have. I don't want to say hardcore gamers, but you have more YouTubers and such that are going to want to at least see what the heck this thing is. You have the curiosity levels high to see, like, okay, is this really VR or is this, whatever. So I think you're going to have it sell better, but I think ultimately it's not going to do juggernaut numbers by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
So
about you,
what was
Bobby?
the number? 70% chance? But you say
70%.
combined against all of them. There's no way it does better than all four or all of the three combined. I don't think it does that.
Have the first three sold well?
Well, listen, they've done a fourth one.
The first
Yeah,
one.
the thing of it is like you got, like, you guys in particular, you bag on the thing, and
Well, we'll get into.
I'm
the
just
main
saying.
thing.
What
I just wanna
I'm
know-
saying is if Labo wasn't selling, then Nintendo wouldn't continue to put them out. They would have stopped by now.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
So
I'll talk about it.
Bad Bit, I know you got a lot to say. 70% chance this
No.
outsells. No, okay.
Nah, this is a failure.
I'm gonna
failure.
say
I'll
no.
tell you why. I'll tell you why later. But later. It's gonna be a good episode.
here we go with this nonsense.
Okay, so that was
Yeah.
over under. Going forward, I think I'm gonna do some Twitter viewer questions. So I'm probably gonna put like a poll of questions, and then the winner of that do that. So we'll mix up this first segment a little bit. But before we get to the main topic, guys, you like free games. I think everyone likes free games. We have we have a couple giveaways today. The first game is a indie game. Let me pull this up. I want to read this to you. This is Bard's Gold for the Nintendo Switch. So Bard's Gold is a slower paced modern platformer. Games like Alex Kidd, Rainbow Islands, Wonder Boy, all have been handcrafted and picked randomly. Each playthrough, the game features a permanent upgrade system to make each and every one of your sessions count. So it's kind of like a pixel platformer. So if you would like to win this eShop game, I need Bobby to think of a number 1 through 100. Say it out loud, Bobby.
Why would I say it out loud?
Say it out loud. We're gonna do a different
Okay,
system
so
this time.
between 1 and 100,
1 and
29.
29. Now, when Bad Bit says his number, you're gonna multiply Bad Bit's number by 29. First one to put it in the chat wins Bard's Gold. Add me on Twitter. I'll send it to you.
If you know me, and Bobby has seen this on multiple occasions, you know exactly what my number is going to be.
Jesus Christ.
It's 69.
So 29
such
times
such a child.
69.
Such
I
a
hate
child.
you. 29 times 69.
Mhm.
First one to put it in the chat wins. And yeah.
Deuterino.
Yeah, see, he's got it, dude. He's got it.
For me it was Joe after work.
Yeah,
That's
but you have to
cheating.
work, say give it to
That's cheating.
Deuterino.
Okay. All right, dude. Yeah, I'll message it to you after the show. We have one more giveaway at the end of the show. But let's get to
What
the
kind of giveaway is that?
meat. That was a giveaway, man. 2
What the
giveaways.
hell? Let's multiply numbers. What the?
Sorry, I can't buy a Switch.
I'm
for
not talking
people.
about that. I'm not talking about the prize. I'm talking about the way you gave it away.
I don't know. We're doing something different. The next one we'll do.
Okay,
Do something.
no problem.
Okay, so we have to talk about Labo VR.
Yes.
That's the main topic of this podcast right here. So I was actually going live with the Nintendo Shack. Shout out to them. And it was just announced that Nintendo is coming out with a 4th Labo kit, Labo VR. So basically, there are, I believe, 3 different SKUs. You can get the full set, which comes with 5 or 6 Labo VR activities. Comes with like goggles and like a blaster. There's like a camera in there. And you can also buy like DLC, like Labo, like kits, I guess. I don't know. It's really confusing. Even.
Like mini games.
Yeah. So basically, like it's extension on. One's the camera and the elephant. One's like a or something like that. And the reason why I'm being so like weird and vague about this is because we didn't get a trailer with it. It's just like up on their website, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about this. This is like the main reason why. Besides Bad Bit, such a great guy. This is why I brought him on this week. I want to start with Bad Bit here.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts and what is Nintendo thinking with this? Labo VR.
This is their last ditch effort to get this thing to sell. I was just doing a little bit of research before, during the giveaway. This thing, Labo as a whole, has yet to break over 2 million units sold in the year of July. And when I'm hating on Labo, I just hate the people that outright defend it to defend it, because the first month it broke 1 million units sold, and that was very impressive. But as we seen as the year gone by, it has struggled to produce. Even an article out of Nintendo Life, Nintendo has even admitted to that it has struggled to sell well. And so when I'm seeing Nintendo Labo, it reminds me exactly like the PlayStation Vita, which was a huge failure on Sony's behalf, because when it launched, the Vita sold really well in the beginning. Not a lot of people remember that because they look at it years, away from it. But the first opening sales of Japan were super promising. That's why they were just like, yeah, this is going to do gangbusters. And after about a year and a half of Sony supporting it, of putting out games for it, of putting out first party quality titles, like you had an Uncharted, right? You had a Killzone Resistance. They even had a exclusive Call of Duty game for it. After a year and a half, they came out and they said, we're not going to try this anymore. And that's what I see, exactly what I see with Labo so far. First one sold really well, the Variety Kit, but everyone after that, Nintendo's been really sheepish on. So when I look at the Nintendo Labo VR, this is what I'm seeing. Nintendo is putting out their flagship. This is the all or nothing. This is everything we got at this, right? We're giving you a Mario, we're giving you a Zelda. And if that thing does not sell at that point, you're going to see themselves distance even further. You even said it, like it doesn't even have any, pageantry for it. There's not even a trailer. It's just, here it is. It's very much Nintendo going, here. So when I look at that, I also think to myself, are we actually going to put VR in front of kids' eyes? And that's something that a lot of people, when they're looking at VR, they ask that question. I love my PSVR, but the number one thing I always tell people is don't put this in front of your kids' eyes. And a lot of people don't recognize with PSVR, when you buy it, you actually have to set the angles of the screens, adjust them to your eyes, or else you're going to get a lot of blurring. You're going to get a lot of what is it called? Screen door effects. It's going to hurt your eyes. So seeing this, there's a question. Will Labo have that? Will they have it so that it actually adjusts to the children's eyes when they're putting it on their face?
Let me
Right?
say this first of all, because like
Yeah.
I think the thing that we need to get out of the way is we know Labo in general as a brand is not for any of us.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
we're not judging this on like, oh, I don't want to buy this because it's like a kid game and there's like an
Yeah.
elephant thing. It
I
just
don't give a shit about that, Pat.
Yeah.
The thing is, I look at it and I'm like, it's not for me. Just like PSVR back in the day was not for me. That argument of like, well, it's not for you, so you don't get to have a say in it, is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Because theoretically, you're looking at it at the most objective one could look at something. You have no bias because you have no interest in this thing.
Yeah.
Right. So you're walking in going, listen, this isn't for me. I understand what market they're pointing at, but you're already selling Labo, which is hard enough to sell, and then you're trying to sell VR in front of that, and it's also an unproven piece of tech still. Like VR might not make it. Oculus Vive probably won't make it. PSVR is the only promising out of the three that's selling units attached.
Can we? Okay, let's get realistic here. Let's stop the nonsense. This is
what's your
this is
first
not
impressions,
VR.
though?
I don't know why people are acting like it's not
not.
VR. So to sit here first off and say that's not the truth. That's not a fact.
But that's what they're saying.
They're
though.
calling
That's
it VR, Pat, but that's because of the way the setup is. That's because when they do them stupid Google boxes, they called that VR. But that wasn't VR. That was not VR. That was 3D. This is no different than the Virtual Boy. So my thing is that this is what's that? I'm just my point is that I do believe that this will sell because of the curiosity. I do believe that it'll work out for Nintendo because of that. The fact of it's not moving units. I think that they're making money off this thing hand over fist because there is not much markup on cardboard. Like they're making money off of this. So again, it's a success in the fact that it may not be moving the amount of units they wanted to move, but I don't believe for a second that they would be into Kit 4 within a year if it was not moving. Don't believe it at all. The other thing too is I don't feel like this is dangerous for kids because of the fact, A, it's Nintendo. They're not going to just slap things on kids' faces that it's going to hurt them. I think if you look at this VR kit, you see these it looks like there's a tinting of glasses in front. I think it's an effect. I think it's no different than the 3D slider within a 3DS. I don't believe that this is anywhere near the tech of an Oculus or a PSVR. Like it's not apples to apples. Why they're calling it VR is because the look and the feel and the way that we view VR. They're trying to make money off of a name brand, not necessarily what it is. And the other thing is regardless of what anybody says, I believe this is also working in the fact of it's smaller amounts of plays. These are not full games. These are not big games. These are little tech demos. These are little like kids going to go fishing and all that stuff. And so I don't think that it's as big a deal as people are making out to be.
My thing is the Switch's screen is 720p though. And doesn't VR split the screen up?
It's not VR, Pat. It's not VR.
But
it's
the magnifying of the lenses are going to simulate.
But here's the thing. You had them Google Cardboard things. Them phones weren't 1080. Them phones were 720 back then. They weren't top of the notch lines.
Well, no, those things. So how Samsung VR works is there is a screen built into it.
No. I'm talking about the ones where you actually slid the phone into the cardboard.
Those are 1080.
I had a guy that had a phone at work and it was a 720.
It might be one of those cheap.
I'm just saying, like this is no different than that.
But most of those people who experience, and that's why you see, like, I don't think Samsung Gear is a thing anymore because it sucks.
Yeah,
like nobody wants to buy it. So like this is VR. It's just shitty. VR.
I don't believe it's
just
VR
like how crappy VR. Just like because like the definition of virtual reality is a computer computer generated simulation of a three-dimensional image or environment that could be interacted with in a seemingly real or physical way by a person using a special electronic equipment such as a helmet with a screen inside or gloves fitting with sensors.
So what you're saying is, okay. So then what you're saying is that Virtual Boy was VR.
Yeah, it is.
Tell that to Lucky Palmer.
Okay, I'll do it.
Because it's not because that's the thing. When you talk to people that own Oculus this is not VR. It's not.
They're baby. Yeah, those things were baby steps.
And that's what this is. This is not anywhere near. This is not true VR.
But it is.
It's not true VR. It's 3D.
But when you're using VR, definition fits. It is a screen inside of a helmet, right? It's VR, and you're interacting with an image. It's VR.
It's going to use the motion.
And you're probably using the.
But I think it's using. I think it's using the terms very loosely.
That's a pretty dead-on definition, dude.
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying. Well, here's the thing. Right? You're saying that. Have you played it yet? No. Listen to me. Have you?
You see it on the screen.
Really? Yeah. There's no trailer. How do you know what the hell you're doing?
No. I saw a little thing where like it's Mario, it's Zelda.
Where did you see that at?
I saw something different. Maybe
I don't know if that was real.
Maybe I was visiting.
I never saw that because when I went to the website, they had nothing at all. They had pictures of cutouts, and that was it.
You're sliding a console into a headset. There is a screen inside a headset, just like the definition says. It's VR. You're propping it up to be VR. So what you're either saying is that this isn't VR. Nintendo's lying to its audience, or this.
I don't believe when I hear VR, I believe when I think of VR, I believe that you are immersed in something. Like, so what you're saying is that you're gonna get the same experience from this that you're getting from PSVR. You're gonna feel like you're in something.
Similar,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Absolutely. Because here's the thing: I did the Google Cardboard, right? I did that, and I did PSVR. Dude, they are not the same experience at all. I don't give a damn what they were calling that Google Cardboard crap. That's not VR. That's 3D. Yeah. It's 3D in a box. That's all it is. It's no different.
That's what.
But not. That's
it's 3D images. You're in.
But I'm not. But you're not. You're not. I guess the definition's not coming across. I don't believe that just because you strap something on your face, it's VR.
That's what she said.
I don't think that that's the case. I think that,
Well, I think your feelings are getting in the way of reality.
We're talking different definitions.
I think it's bold to call it the VR set, have VR on the box. I will say though, and this is why I brought this up in the last segment, the over and under. I think this might outsell the other kits combined, just because of the fact that people are interested in VR. VR is very popular. However, how much is it to get into PSVR? It's like $300, isn't it? $200. That's a pretty steep gamble right there. And you can say whatever, like there are some can't miss VR games, but if you're spending $200, can you think of 10 VR games that you would buy?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm making a list right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the best experiences I had last year were games like Beat Saber, games like Moss, games like Super Hot, games like I want to give this one credit. Why isn't it?
I mean, Skyrim and Doom,
Astrobot Rescue Mission, right?
Astrobot's
Sprint Vector is an amazing game. These are awesome. VR is getting into it's finally picking up its stride in a really awesome way. And there's developers using that tech to do some really cool and innovative things. But when we talk about what is VR, what is not, the definition's solid. It is a screen in front of your eyes with goggles. As much as I love PSVR, the number one selling, as far as I can remember, was Samsung Gear, because it came with phones and they were counting that as sales. And it sold a couple million, I think 4 or 5 million units. When I take a look at Labo VR, you're trying to sell something that is already really hard to sell, Labo, and you're selling it with something that's even harder to sell, which is VR. And how do you make two things that are really hard, combine them together, and how do you make that sell and appeal to people? When someone sees
fun games,
a goddamn elephant with a crank at the end, games.
But I actually think that's the
Yeah.
That's the reason why people buy it. Is
So-
these like weird things. But I think the thing is, Nintendo was smart, and they made 4 different SKUs, which
Sure.
for stores and stuff, they're not going to like that.
Sure.
But you have a $40 buy-in to experience what Nintendo perceives as VR. I'm interested. I'm honestly interested. Then again, everyone that I've talked to, every single person, because I didn't buy Labo, I'll be the first one to say it.
Yeah.
But like everyone that I've talked to that bought Labo had a great weekend, and now they have a bunch of cardboard hanging around. But
Right.
it's not like something like We Play or something where it came with a Wiimote, something that you could use, something that like you could use after the fact. Now you have a bunch of like cardboard carcasses. And I don't know. I don't think that.
I think this.
I think this is like the last.
I don't know. I think this
This is the
is
last
different.
one.
I think this is different than the other ones. Just because, again, I feel like you're going to have a lot of people getting it to test it out to see what it is. Where Nintendo has the advantage over the other guys is Nintendo's a game maker, so and they're going to make it fun ultimately. And again, if the games are for kids and kids love them, that's the tale. That's what it's going to boil down to. None of this stuff, like you guys are hepped up on, like you don't like the argument, like, well, if it's not for you, you don't have a say. Ultimately, I think that does hold water.
No, you do.
No. I don't think you get a say because if it's not for you, then if they're not making something for you, they know that you're not the statistic, they're not what you're shooting for. For you to say you don't like it, well, of course they know that.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's not selling well, and it's not, and the proof's in the pudding. And if this thing was really going to be as gangbusters as you said it was or is, why the hell do they not have a trailer out for this thing? Why did
They didn't have a
just
trailer for the
put it
last
out
one
there?
either. They didn't have the.
Yeah, exactly. How
Do you
well
think-
Why do you need to have a?
Do you think it
Why
was
do you
a-
have to have a trailer for it?
I think out
Because
of
that's how you
everything,
market
this is like proof of like you need to see something. 'Cause
Maybe
that's
they
the
can't.
main
Maybe
thing,
they
too.
can't emulate it, and that's the problem. Maybe they're having issues. I mean, why doesn't? I mean, you're.
Well, why
so-
don't you take a page out of Vive, out of PlayStation? You see how they market it, right? You have some guys standing with their
Oh, because that
controllers
did
in two
so
hands,
well.
and your experience-
That did
and
so well.
PS,
PSVR didn't pick up until they
is-
dropped the
is a
price,
success.
bro.
Yeah, just like how
It wasn't the
They dropped
experience.
price,
It wasn't
they
the
gave
trailer.
you awesome-
How many times did they show this at conventions and people are like, "What the hell are they doing?"
Dude, no, that's false, Bobby.
That's fact.
Because even
You're
Sony
revisionist
literally-
history right now, bro.
Andrew House literally stated that the reason why they put out PSVR, that he even underestimated the sales of the PlayStation VR, because when you look at it when it first launched, it was insanely hard to get a hand of. And Andrew House literally said, "We didn't know how this thing was going to do. We didn't know the success that this thing was going to bring, and we were very apprehensive. But when we heard back from people from GDC, that's when we knew we had to do something with it." And even Shuhei Yoshida, even
That's not
when
what
the
I'm
thing was
saying.
coming
That's
out,
no.
even when
You're
this thing
mistaken.
was
Wait,
coming
wait,
out,
wait.
they were just like,
No.
we're not expecting this to be the
That's
biggest thing
not
in
what
the
I
world,
said.
that
That's
this
not what I
thing is the
said. That's not
PlayStation
what I
mark.
said. What I'm saying is
What were you saying about
they when they originally were showing it off
Yeah,
at conventions, nobody knew what the hell they were doing. There was guys standing on stage playing, and they couldn't emulate and show VR properly, and it was throwing people off, and people weren't into it the way they thought they were going to be into it.
I think they didn't know how to. I don't.
What I'm
still
saying
don't
is
understand
okay.
it.
So you're
Because
saying
from
they
what I
have to show a
understand-
trailer. I'm saying that it's very difficult to emulate what a VR trailer is going to look like. It's hard to show off a game in VR. You're not giving the
At
truth.
least,
Like,
like-
you're showing a 2D image, and that doesn't
Well,
give
what
the
What I'm
experience.
saying, Bobby, I think we're is how do you sell VR? Obviously, Vive is selling well. That is a $600 product. Oculus is selling well. It's a $600 product. PSVR is selling very well. It is a $200 to $300 product. Is that over time, they have learned in marketing, in their PR research, how to sell these things and outmarket it with people. And yes, it starts with dropping the price. That's obvious. As first adopters, you're always going to spend more on the original thing. What I'm saying is, you just look at their marketing, Vive's PlayStations and Oculuses of what do you see when you see a VR commercial? You're seeing a guy with a controller playing something, and you see the game around him playing it, and it's blowing your mind. Like, that's how you sell VR to the masses in terms of a commercial. But when PlayStation came out with the PlayStation VR, what they did months beforehand, like the first time I got to play PSVR was 3 months before this thing came out. They had teams of people go out to GameStops and Best Buys. They still do this every now and again, and they put it in front of people's eyes. And I remember that guy talking to me, going, "Yeah, like we don't know how this thing's
put it in front of people so they can try it. Why? Because you can't emulate the experience in a trailer.
But how are you going to do that with a cardboard box with a Switch? Are you going to bring a guy who's going to clean off a cardboard box with a damp paper towel and go, here, try this?
No, because the price the point of entry is so cheap, and people already own Switch.
It's not cheap. You have to buy a Switch and then buy this dumb headset. It's not cheap. Get that out of your mind, man.
Dude, people have Switch. What world do you live in that people don't own Switches? 20 million units are out there. You're acting like this is they haven't sold a Switch.
Hey guys, bring your Switch to Best.
That's not.
There's gonna be a guy with a cardboard box.
What I'm saying is the point of. So I have a Switch. It's costing me $40-$50 to go get this go get the VR.
Yeah,
that's a lot cheaper than going out and buying a PSVR.
You could also print one out via Google Cardboard for free.
And what games do you have?
And put your phone in.
I
have no idea. I don't.
You're being totally facetious now.
Well,
like I'm a parent.
You're not a parent. You're not a parent. But what I'm saying is there's people that actually own Switches. You're acting like you're acting like this Labo is going to be. I'm going to the store just for Labo. No.
I will literally put my Switch right here, right now, up. If I lose, if this thing is the greatest success,
I'm not saying it's the greatest success.
I will sell my Switch. I'm
not saying it's going to be the.
I swear to God, this is the
record it, mark it.
You're confusing. You're confusing conversations because I'm not saying it's going to be the greatest thing, but I think it's going to sell well.
But what you're saying.
So why is it okay? Here's my question: why is it okay for you to say that PSVR is selling well, but I can't say that Labo VR is going to sell well?
Because even Nintendo says it's not selling well. Even that when they talk to
I said Labo VR is going to sell well. I didn't say Labo itself. I said Labo VR is going to sell well.
But what's your definition of success? How many units is a success? Because what your argument is,
I don't think they need many units to make it a success with the low cost of it.
They don't need to move the amount of units that you have to move to be successful.
But again, what's the unit number of success?
I don't know that because I'm not manufacturing it.
Then we don't know. We can't have this conversation.
Why can't we? Why can't I say that I think it's going to do well?
Because
okay. I think it's going to do 1 million units. That's what I think as well.
Okay.
That'd be good.
I think it'll do. You don't think it can move 1 million? Okay. I'd be willing to.
I think it can.
I will sell my Switch on that.
So you'll sell your Switch if they sell 1 million units.
I'll do the bad bit Switch.
Oh my God!
At 3,000 subs. Here's what we'll do. I don't have a limited edition Pikachu, whatever.
I just don't think I think it can sell. I think it can
because I think Nintendo's at a point where they're doing so freaking well. It's kind of like when you saw with the PlayStation 4, right? Sony was apprehensive when they launched the console. They had a whole lot of indie games supporting this thing for the first 2 years of the PlayStation 4's lifespan. Now you have Sony coming out and saying, because when a company is in the red, they find any which way of revenue that they can find. Small risks, high rewards. And that's what they get with the indies. That's what you see with Nintendo Switch with the indies right now.
So the question is the first Labo kit you said did 1 million in a month.
1 million. Yeah, and then after that, it has not broken.
That's not my point. So what you're saying is
that's still good though.
And what you're saying is something that has more curiosity than the original. What you're saying is
I think VR
What you're saying is it can't sell 1 million. And what I'm saying to you is
the Labo VR.
What I'm saying to you is if the first kit sold 1 million,
Yeah.
this one has more curiosity from multiple age groups. I think it does easily 1 million. What do you mean, how?
It doesn't even have its own direct. It doesn't even have its own trailer. When's this coming out?
And it's already creating this kind of buzz.
Yes.
I think it'll sell based on.
I think
is this thing actually worth a damn?
I think it'll sell. I think it'll sell based off of one, curiosity. People are curious of what it is and what it does. Two,
such a low
buy-in.
Two,
exactly. It's a low buy-in if you already own a Switch, and three.
I think it does $500,000.
And three, it's Nintendo, and Nintendo makes good games, and I think people look at that as like, if you're gonna
it's bullshit. They made ARMS, Bobby. Let's not come on.
ARMS is great.
Jesus Christ! I'm out of here.
I have two things.
Yes.
If there's going to be a company that makes a kick-ass trailer or direct or something for a product, it's going to be Nintendo. I think they can do VR without actually showing VR. How many people bought ARMS because of the ARMS Direct, ARMS test?
That was garbage. That only did 1 million. That was garbage. Don't listen to that, Pat. Come on.
But for a new IP?
I'm being a wise ass.
What I'm saying is, guys, what you're not understanding, okay? And what I'm getting, honestly, God, frustrated with is the Vita sold millions when it first came out. Millions. It was a huge success for Sony in the beginning. This first month nonsense bullcrap. It sold 1 million. Of course, yes. But now, as even Nintendo says, it is not selling Switches like they thought it was. It's not selling as well as they thought it was. This is Nintendo saying that. And now you have a new thing, low buy-in, whatever, and it's coming out with little fanfare. It's coming out with just.
You know why? Do you know why? Do you know why I think it's gonna sell?
No, it's Nintendo just letting it go. It's just that. It's just like, here's the last one.
That don't make sense. That don't make sense why you would do that.
And what I'm saying is, there
was a little thing called the 3DS. Didn't sell well either. Didn't sell well either. But then it just took off.
We have a different barometer of where success is. I think that's where we're coming in from. Because I'm saying, if I ran Nintendo,
thank God you don't.
I would take whatever resources they have from Labo and switch them to something else. Because if you're Nintendo, your Switch is selling like gangbusters.
I do agree with that.
Those juggernaut games that are going to sell not 1 million units. No, that's low hanging fruit for you. You want this? You want
10 million, 5 million.
This isn't Nintendo, right?
6
like
million.
This is another company making these. This isn't Nintendo, right? I thought they were partnered with the company that does Labo.
You just said Nintendo makes
no
games. So
you're not listening to me. You're not hearing me. What I'm saying is I believe like the constructs and stuff. I thought that they were working with another company on all this. Like I thought it was a partnership with another company doing Labo. I didn't think it was actually Nintendo doing this stuff. No, I thought it was they were partnered with a company to do it. Like the company came to Nintendo with these ideas, and Nintendo was like, "Okay, we'll invest and do it."
The other thing I'll say is, and this might affect sales as well. Labo is a great concept. It's cool to see. It's fun to do. Like put all this stuff together. But the actual problem, and I think, is the software itself. Because like you have these great creations and stuff, and then it's like, what can you do with it? And I think if you're someone who bought the first 2 Labo kits or the last 2 Labo kits and you feel like you got burned on that, are you going to now give Labo a 4th try? And I think that's where the sales can kind of be interrupted.
And I think that's what you're seeing with this thing. That is my whole case in point. Variety kits sold over 1 million units. These other kits coming out are not doing anywhere near that. So what's this 4th one? Oh, because it has VR? Well, VR is really hard to sell anyway. That's my whole point. Is that Labo?
I don't think the VR is hard to sell, except for the fact that it's too expensive to get into. I think the cost of entry is expensive.
I agree
VR
with
needs
that.
a killer app, and we finally have got that. That's what it needs. Every piece of hardware needs a killer piece of software with it, and that's why VR was so hard to sell in the beginning, because it was so expensive. The technology wasn't there, and there was no Beat Saber, there was no Astrobot, there was no Moss, there was no Arkham VR, right? There weren't these awesome titles that are like Beat Saber has blown my mind of what VR is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sprint Vector blows my mind every time I play it. Again, Super Astrobot Rescue Mission is amazing. Tetris Effect. Tetris. You believe this? In 2019 would be something we talk about. Awesome in VR. You need awesome software.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like Labo, that's where it falls short. I think the interest is there, the excitement is there. I feel like VR is going to sell well just because of, people like me or, someone who hasn't experienced VR yet.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a Switch. I have $40. There's nothing really coming out right now. So it's like, I think it's going to sell well, but the longevity of it. And I think that's kind of what some people don't even think of. They're just
and
like,
that's what I'm saying when we're talking.
I'm not saying long-term sales. I'm saying this will sell well. You asked what well is. I think it sells 1 million copies, 1 million units.
Okay, I think it will sell like a half. But
my thing is you're misconstruing me saying that I think it'll do well as it's going to be a juggernaut or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I think numbers wise, Nintendo will make money on it, just like they've been doing on the other Labo kits, and.
Yeah, but it's not enough money. That's the thing. They're a company. They want the best output that they want possible. You see with Anthem. Anthem's the #1 selling game of February. It is not good enough for EA right now. Call of Duty
EA has one hat in the
broke
crown.
records last year. It was still one of the most successful games. That was a failure to Activision because they wanted more money out of it.
Yeah, well,
So what I'm saying with Labo is that if I'm Nintendo, yes, you're making money out of this.
I think where your confusion here, Joe, is a thing like Labo cost bare minimum to make because of being cardboard. Right. I think like Anthem, a thing like Call of Duty is millions upon millions of dollars to produce that game. So of course they want it, and Nintendo has multiple. Nintendo also has multiple baskets in the game, where a company like Activision, they only make video games, and that's it. So if Nintendo is making a steady, whatever, like if they sold 1 million units, these things sold for $75 a clip. That's $75 million off of cardboard. That's a win. Yeah. I don't know how that's not a win.
No, yeah. Look, what I'm saying is you take, and then we're pretending like we know how much these things actually are worth to Nintendo to print. You're taking these little crappy mini games. That's what they are, right? Can we be real? And then you're taking cardboard and you're selling them, right? Yeah, no duh. It's gonna print money. The question is right now, is it printing enough money for Nintendo to continue doing this? That's something we just don't know. So the evidence that I see in front of me is Nintendo silent stealth launching something like this VR unit, which is like, here it is. We don't have a trailer.
Yep.
And then that's just the same exact way Sony treated the Vita for years. It's like, oh yeah, well there's Guacamelee. And like just walk away. And again, no duh, they're printing money out, but they wanted also this thing to sell Switches. And it's not selling Switches. They've even come out and admitted that. So what's the mission of Labo? Has it done that? Obviously it hasn't. Is this Labo VR going to be their saving grace, Hail Mary? I don't think anybody thinks that. But is it going to sell over 1 million units? It depends when it launches. I think it does. How it launches.
Launches in March.
So far, so good.
Or launches in April. So it's coming.
Launches in April.
I think it. I don't know. They still got time to show something. It's it is what it is. I mean, this is the way they've been marketing. They've been marketing stuff like this all year, where they just drop stuff on Twitter and then they don't have no trailer with it. Whatever it is, they just make an announcement.
Yep.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what?
A lot.
There's a lot of games this year.
Like what games? Like first party games?
Yes. They've been dropping stuff.
Like what?
They did a bunch of Fire Emblem stuff that they dropped, that they just dropped tweets about with no trailers.
Yeah.
Was that after the?
No, that was before. That was in the earlier part of the year. They were dropping.
That was what? Yeah, there was a bunch. There was like that whole meme of like a Twitter.
They got a month, guys.
I'm just saying. They've been doing this type of marketing for a good portion of the year, where they just drop stuff on Twitter. They don't say nothing about it, and then as things get closer to the launch, they start pumping it up and doing what they're doing. Listen, I'm not going to question the company that's the hottest selling console right now in the world. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm interested. I don't know the longevity of Labo. I didn't even think we'd get a kit, to be honest. But we did see some of the stuff that was released in other trailers, like the bird, the camera, and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think we are still missing some things. Like, I think there was like a guitar or something. I don't know. Some other things.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, I love you, by the way. We got a little...
Listen, it is what it is. You're wrong. That's okay. It's okay. You're wrong in we're wrong in a lot of things. That's fine. I want to seriously make a bet with you that I think it does 1 million units. You say it does.
Don't sell your Switch. Don't sell your Switch.
I'll sell myself.
Sell your Switch. Why would you sell if something is successful? Why'd you sell it?
I'm that dead honest. God, this is not selling. We're making so much bigger than
No, I think it does. I don't know. I just have a feeling it does.
I will literally I will come out with those leaked images, you know what I'm saying?
Bobby, you gonna try this out?
I really am. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try it. I'm not saying I'm gonna like it, but I'm gonna buy it. Why not? And that's the thing. Like, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that are interested in it that didn't buy the other kits, that had no interest in the other kits. And I think that's where, when I look at that and I go, they've piqued interest in people, that's where I think it'll sell well, you know, and I think it'll sell at least 1 million units. Because I think if the first one...
Yeah, no, I've literally, like, so Labo has a VR headset. This is fun. You know, that's all I've seen. It's not even, it's literally just a reaction. It's not like I'm interested. It's like, how do you get those people that obviously... probably lukewarm on the Labo at this very point in time, right? There's obviously people that are not a fan of it that have it. How do you get those people in? How do you get new people into this VR headset? You need a killer app. We have a month to see a killer app that tells me why I need this VR.
Can I just say, you keep saying that, right? You keep saying that, but Sony launched with no killer app.
So, what do you mean? PlayStation?
No. The PlayStation VR had no killer app at the launch.
Yeah, and it didn't sell that well.
But wait a minute, you just said it sold well. Did he not say it sold well?
In 2000, it sold well
Selling
in 2018, where there is now games for it. Yeah.
No, you said in the beginning, Andrew House and Shuhei Yoshida said it sold higher than expectations.
And they had real talk for a second. They had Batman. Right, they had games like Batman. I'm trying to remember.
Batman was garbage.
They had Resident Evil.
Batman was a tech demo.
And
didn't it release with Skyrim?
No, Skyrim didn't come till last year.
PlayStation VR was something where it was untested, and it's not. Again, like PSVR is a great barometer of like this is doing well for Sony. It's not printing them cash, but they know where their expectations are. That's what I'm saying. And when it comes to the year of our Lord, 2018, it sold phenomenally well because of games like Moss, like Rescue Mission, like Beat Saber, like Tetris Effect, like Super Hot, like Sprint Vector. They had games to prove that the hardware was capable. What we see right now, and this is the thing that freaking annoys me, we have a piece of cardboard with a price tag, and we're debating, and we have a month, 30 days till this thing comes out, right? Or 40 days. We're debating if this thing that launches in 40 days that we have no idea what the software even looks on it is going to be a success. Why are we doing that?
Because we have a sickness.
When we're seeing that these cardboard kits, ever since the first one, has seen more and more drop-off. Why are we kidding ourselves? Thinking this is going to sell 1 million units.
Curiosity.
When Nintendo even says it.
The Nintendo did not say that. Nintendo did not say that this would not sell well.
I get it.
Wait a minute. There's an article right now out that Nintendo says that Labo VR is going to sell bad. Right?
No.
Exactly. So stop putting words in people's mouths. Stop, Joe. Joe, you're putting words in people's mouths.
this was an article back in January where Nintendo.
I'm not talking January. You're asking why we think that this VR now will sell well. I'm saying it's going to sell well out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Bobby, I love you, and when your face gets red, I want to do it.
Well, dude, bro, you're putting words in me and Pat's mouths, and you're pulling up stuff from randomly all over the place, dude. You're all over the board on this. The fact of the matter is that if the original Labo sold 1 million units based off curiosity, I think that this can do 1 million units based off curiosity.
And how much did Unit 2 and Unit 3
I'm not
sell?
talking about those. They weren't. Nobody cared about those. Nobody was curious about those. Was there any? Okay, let me ask you a question. Here's the legitimate question. When 2 and 3 came out, was anybody talking about them? Thank you. When this one got announced, everybody's talking about it. So the curiosity is up. The fact that you don't want to recognize that, then that's fine. It's fine.
No, the curiosity's there, but it's a morbid curiosity.
No, I don't know about that. I think you're going to have people buying it because it's cheap and they can attempt to see what it is. I think the sales
did go down a little bit because of the lack of software, though. I think it comes back to the software. But I do agree with Bobby in saying now we have a new curiosity, because at first it was, how the hell is cardboard going to become a video game? Now we know how that works. So now it's like, wait, Nintendo VR. I think it's going to sell based on that.
That's what
sure, maybe.
I will say, Joe brought up a good point. Doesn't need a killer app because it is
absolutely
geared towards kids, though. And I think the number one thing is, once the reviews come out, once you see the videos of people experiencing it, is it going to be safe for kids to use? Which I think it will. It's Nintendo. But I don't know. It depends on the kids.
That's the thing that really worries me as well. It comes putting it in front of kids' eyes. VR is not a proven product still, and there's still a lot of researchers that say, we don't know enough about this product. Don't put it in kids' eyes that are under 13.
I'm kind of upset that it became a Labo kit, to be honest.
And that's the thing that does concern me, is if you're a parent, not saying I am, and you're thinking, like what's the number one thing when I was a kid, right? Stop staring at the screen, you're going to go blind type of crap. How am I going to tell my kid, put this screen, put it right in front of your freaking face, go have fun?
Yeah.
And then again, what is the killer app that we have less than a month and a half to sell? Don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if
we'll sell 1 million units. Don't worry, guys. It's going to
be interesting to see where Nintendo goes with it.
I'm trolling.
I'm not even listening no more. I'm not even listening no more. I'm done. I'm out. Next question.
All right. So that's
So I'll sell my Switch if it hits over 1 million, if it breaks. What are we doing if it doesn't? Do we get a titties for the biddies Bobby over here?
I think Bobby makes a full robot costume out of cardboard.
Yes, I want to see it. Yes.
And live.
What's the next topic, Pat? We got 30 minutes. Let's go.
Happy Mario Day, guys. It's March 10th. And I wanted to ask you guys, where does Super Mario go from here? So Super Mario Maker 2 is coming out. We had Odyssey release. I think it's a great game. We haven't really seen support for it, though, which makes me think that another 3D Mario game might be the next answer. I'm personally excited about Mario Maker, but I want to know where Super Mario goes from here, be it the 2D, the 3D space. I'll start with Bobby on this one.
I totally missed your question. I'm still stupid. Say it again.
What?
Say it again. Give me the question again.
This guy. So where does Super Mario go from here? 3D space, 2D space.
I think obviously the next game is a 3D game. Like, they just came out with, if they're coming out Mario Maker, I think the next way they go is 3D. I think they go back, if they're smart, to Galaxy. I don't think Odyssey did well at all. In terms of, it sold well, but and I think the initial reaction were tied to a lot of nostalgia. But I don't think the game was anywhere near as good as people made it out to be. It definitely was not a Game of the Year contender in my eyes. I think that a lot of people.
You're saying that with Odyssey?
Yeah, with Super Mario Odyssey. I don't feel like I don't think Super Mario Odyssey was Game of the Year contender. I feel Xenoblade Chronicles was a much better game than Mario Odyssey, and it should have gotten the shot in my eyes. But dating and timing and all that is what it is. I think that Galaxy is above and beyond a better game, and I think they should go back to a Galaxy type game. I'll be as bold as to say this. I don't even think that Odyssey was better than 3D World. I think that 3D World was a better game, better Mario game.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of like truth be told, I wasn't a fan of Odyssey, and I was very scared to say that I wasn't the biggest fan of Odyssey because of the death threats on the Labo. I kind of just held back on that one.
Well, get ready, man, because I think Player Essence is watching, and get ready, man.
I came with a hammer. You know what I mean?
Somebody take this video and tweet it at Player Essence, please.
You're like, come in here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Please tell me more bullshit to get me more, people yelling at me, telling me
I liked Odyssey. People in the chat seem to like Odyssey.
Yeah.
I'm more curious of where do you go 2D from here? Because I'll be honest, man, I picked up Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and I don't have it anymore. I think it is aged pretty poorly.
Really? Okay.
Just like I think 2D platformers have just taken such a huge step. Like even 2014 when you had Rayman coming out, and then you had Donkey Kong coming out. Playing those two games, those are like A tier compared to like the Super Mario. So I don't know, the ability to play endless levels, the ability to share your level, very work together with people making levels and then playing your levels. How do you beat that? How do you beat an endless
you do
2D Mario
really
game?
good, because it's not an endless 2D Mario game. That game Mario Maker was not that good. They have a lot to do to fix Mario Maker. The fact of the matter that the search engine was broken, was trash. The number one games that were out there were the don't move levels and the music levels. Like, they need to fix that stuff. If they can't fix that and make it cohesive to find levels and find good levels, they're going to flounder again, like they did with Mario Maker, the original. I think what Nintendo needs to do is go back to the drawing board, work on a new 2D Mario game that's essentially like hardcore, like a new art style, go back to the basics, like make it a really good game. The new Super Mario games are just old and boring and bland. They basically took that new sheen for the games and just started slapping them on a bunch of games where there's no character to them. Like there's a difference between the original Mario to Mario 2 to Mario 3 to Mario World. Like every game, every iteration, it was a change that made you recognize and remember classic levels that you fell in love with. The new games, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you a level that I played that I loved. They're just all, they all blur together because it's a lot of the same. Where, like, I could tell you in, Super Mario Bros. 2 and the original Mario Bros. And, I can remember specific levels that were just classic and great to play and a lot of fun to play. So I think that what Nintendo needs to do is rework the art style, kind of go back and do something classic and good with a 2D Mario. They haven't done it in so long. I think it's time to just let the reins off and do it. But I think it's a ways off. With Mario Maker 2 coming, I think it's a ways before they do it again.
Joe, have you played some of the recent 2D Mario games?
Yeah. So here's what you do, guys, right? And this kind of goes into the next topic. So let's just
Don't even say shoot it down or something. This is Mario we're talking about.
100 Marios dropping.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
You only drop with your wits and your warp tunnels, okay? You're jumping in there and you're jumping on all sorts of people's heads. You're trying to get the flower, fire flower power. You're trying to get the big,
that actually sounds pretty fun.
Exactly. Pure chaos. And then you reach the castle, and that's where you get it. You're like, you've reached, the castle, whatever. Okay. There was that joke and it fell flat. So
I liked it.
No, I wasn't a fan of Odyssey. And when I mean I wasn't a fan, let me get the jersey out of here. Not like with my Labo talk before. I liked Odyssey a lot, but to me it did absolutely. It just was more 3D Mario. It didn't do anything too crazy that, I was just like, whoa, this is something Mario's never done before. Other than the cool thing what they were doing, similar to that one 3DS Legend of Zelda game, where you would jump into the wall and your 2D and 3D. That was really cool, but there was no level that I was like, holy crap, this is why I play Mario. This is amazing. This brings me back to 64 and then some. For me, they need to do something a little different with Mario, but sales prove otherwise. Still sold really, really good. I think it's like the attach rate's like 60 or 70%. It's nuts. So why listen to me on that one? Real talk.
Yeah,
But,
I like those 2D segments too. I think they were really cool. They were just too short, I feel like.
But it'd be really cool. I would like a game where you play as Peach. There's not been a Super Mario game where you play as Peach. And
on the DS,
change it up a bit. You can even make it Mario Odyssey DLC, but it's this time Mario's captured. Peach has to save Mario, and instead of you jumping around on people's heads, he has this awesome umbrella, right? Maybe Cappy possesses the damn umbrella, and you have different powers you can swing on by with. Maybe one of them's a straight up shotgun, and you're just taking a Goomba to the curb and like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
What are you talking?
That would
about?
be
You
dope.
stop it. Get out of
You
here.
know,
This is why
stab
Sony. This is why you don't let
people
Sony
in
players
the
on this
chest.
podcast no more.
And then you rip it out. Like
It'll never
Thank
happen
you.
again.
Thank you.
So this is what you do. You
Super
take Doug
Peach, though.
Bowser.
It's dope.
You take Doug Bowser and you feed the memes. Okay.
Okay.
You come out with a 3D Bowser game.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do spoiler alerts on Odyssey? Well, if you know what I mean by that. That was fun as hell, man. And having a whole game like that, or like maybe a 2D game like that. 2D is going to be tough though to follow up Super Mario Maker 2. I hope they do have an Odyssey 2 because I really do like the Cappy mechanic. I think it's really cool. Reminds me of Banjo a little bit, the different forms and stuff like that.
Ooh, okay.
I was a fan.
Listen, I think
and Lucas
okay. So I
Lord.
just want to
Shotguns
let me
are
clarify
nice,
this.
Lucas.
Let me clarify this.
Yeah.
I think Odyssey was
Don't
a
you-
good game.
Okay.
I just don't think it was the greatest in the second coming of Christ. That's you know what I mean. Like it was a solid. It's a Mario game, so it's a solid game.
Yeah.
It's just not number one game of the year caliber. There's no way
Yep.
that was better than Odyssey. Doesn't even come close. That game, when you look on the list of games that were nominated for Game of the Year, it doesn't compare to any of them. Honestly, it's a feat that Nintendo had two games.
It was more Mario.
Yeah, it was just more Mario, and like I said, I think they tapped into that nostalgia flavor and made people get all gooey in the eyes. You know, when they saw what they saw, but it's not.
Somewhere.
It's really not.
Let me go back to this Peach thing.
No,
okay?
no.
So
Move it along, Pat.
He said Peach and Shotgun.
I'm
done,
outta here.
done.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Pat. Are you the host? Can I have just 2 minutes? They're sitting down. They're talking. They're talking about the next wave.
I can
of
easily
capture
just mute him right
for
now,
this
so we'll
Peach.
just do that real quick.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, as one Koopa Link's talking about their master plan, a laser dot on his head, and everybody just kind of looks and like, "Oh, Jerry, you have him." Bam.
Packet
Headshot.
control.
Explosions.
Is
We're
he
talking
mu- is he
Koopa
muted?
Link's
Okay,
on
okay,
the
okay.
floor. Their legs. I'm still going, guys. I don't care. One's carrying. their
Take
own
control,
legs, one's
Pat.
carrying
Take
their
control of your
guts,
show.
You know.
That's
And then Peach just comes down and then just Bowser Jr. didn't even have a chance. Stabs him in the chest.
I had to let him get that out. Okay.
Super Peach
So
did
this is one I think that
Neck.
Joe will help us on. Little Sony guy.
Okay.
So a lot of people have been coming back to Breath of the Wild. We all love celebrating the birthday every year. It's like a holy holiday.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you guys what Nintendo franchise could possibly see this modernized treatment? Because let's face it, Zelda got a modern remake or makeover, and Nintendo fans love it. It was a risky move, making it an open world game, and I think that making Zelda modern led to its success. I'm going to put that out there as a bold claim there. So I wanted to ask you guys, what would be a Nintendo franchise that would see success from modernizing the formula up a little bit? I mean, Nintendo's been doing some of these franchises for a long time. I'm going to start with Bobby.
I mean, if you want to talk about franchises, I think that need to get fixed. I don't know if modern would fix it or not, but like Mario Party needs a rework bad. I don't know what it is. It's just it's never been as fun as the originals. But I would say, for me, I would probably go and say Paper Mario. Paper Mario needs an advancement, an update, something to fix it in terms of like the last 2-3 entries into the system just aren't that good. And I think because they're trying to make changes and make it bold and do different, and I think that's one of the games that not so much they need to move forward with it, but they actually need to go back and kind of rework it by going backwards and going back to its roots, more or less. So to me, I would say that's the game that needs the most rework.
Imagine like a real-time strategy Paper Mario game. I would do it. Like it.
One game for me. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say? I'm just.
No, I was gonna ask you. What franchise seems dated.
So I'm gonna take the road less traveled on this one because I have no idea. I'm not a Metroid guy. I'm not Joe, right? I am Joe, but I'm not
careful.
Joe. And from what I see from Metroid, it has a lot of love back in its Super Nintendo and its GameCube roots. Like Prime was Joe, if I'm not mistaken, Prime was a very different Prime game, or sorry, Metroid.
Yeah,
game
absolutely.
Than prior titles. I think what we need out of Metroid is another refresh. Because when I'm looking at this year right now, Resident Evil 2, for example, remake from the 90s is fantastic. Playing Devil May Cry, it's bonkers good, and it feels like a classic PS2, PS1 game, but it at the same time feeds you that nostalgia while giving you modern controls. I think Metroid would do great by saying, "Hey, we're doing something different. This is not Metroid Prime 4. This is just a different type of Metroid that feels reminiscent of Metroid of old, like your Metroid 2, going back where it's created that Metroidvania, skew, so you're going back to the same levels and seeing how they've changed. You're still keeping that mentality when it comes to Metroid, but you're kind of reinventing it to make it stand out to people like me who have never gotten into a Metroid game before, and maybe a sequel title maybe scares them away a little bit because they don't know the story, and also just letting fans know that this is gonna fresher take on the character. And
would you add multiplayer to it?
Sure, why not? And I think with when it comes to the DS, that I remember playing that Metroid Hunters, I think it was, like crazy because of the multiplayer mechanic. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it'd be really cool to see what type of different arm cannon things and upgrades and weapons you're able to get out of it. I think that it would be a cool thing to see Nintendo not only have a third-person shooter online game, but also have a first-person shooter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Yeah, just a different spin on it.
Yeah.
Joe, I hope I respected you there.
No, that was good. I actually, my two were Metroid, and I think actually Nintendo might have done this. Maybe they weren't liking what they're seeing, so scrapped it, made it a little bit more modern. I also think Splatoon. I think it's Nintendo's little baby, and there's a lot about Splatoon that I don't really like. The map system, choosing the next level, the fact that why can't you bring it back to like a voting system, somewhat like a Call of Duty type of thing? I don't know. Just some things about it are very like old style, but I would like to see Splatoon.
Like the announcer ladies, they gotta shut up.
Oh yeah, in the beginning.
Shut up, Sheldon. Not Sheldon Benedict, the annoying guy with the.
I think a lot of the problem with games, the issues with the games that we are complaining about is it's a Japanese company, and that's just how they're run. There was an article last year, I think it was, where people were bringing up the same things you were just saying, like, why can't I play Salmon Run when I want to play it? And why can't I pick the maps I want to play when I want to play it? And why can't I jump into what ranked play matches I want to play? And his answer was, in Japan, if you go to a restaurant and they're, just using lack of a better term, they're selling a peanut butter and jelly sandwich today. And you're like, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing ever. And you go back the next day, and you go in and you're like, hey, I want that peanut butter jelly sandwich again. And they're like, no, it's on the menu today. And they're like, oh, you're out of peanut butter and jelly? No, we have plenty of it. It's just not on the menu today. And that's Japanese culture. And that's what they, for some reason, they translate that into their games. And honestly, I don't agree with it. I think they shouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem. It's kind of what you have to accept. You have to love with Japanese companies, but it's also frustrating as hell. Because when I was talking to uh, Jack Gilbert from Ojo, like about a month or two ago on Nintendo Talk Live, and we were talking about afterwards, after we got off the air, we were talking a bit, and he was like, one of the most frustrating things for him being from England is trying to explain to the Chinese companies or just the Asian market that like when they want to do things and they're like, hey man, you just don't do things that way. Like we've been doing them for years this way, and you can't present that way to the West. They won't accept it. They'll reject it, and they go, "No, well, that's how we do it. They should just accept it." And they're like, "I get that. I get what you're saying, but they're not going to." And he was like, "Because when you talk to people about this right here, why Nintendo does voice chat through the phone in Japan, that's how they do their voice chat. So when Nintendo put it out, that's because in Japan, that's what they accept, and that's what they want in Japan." So rather than Nintendo going like, okay, in Japan we'll give them this, but in the United States we'll do this, they're not doing that. And that's ultimately a mistake that Nintendo's making, but it's just an archaic way of doing business, and that's just how they do stuff.
Yeah.
Times
yeah,
change.
Here, not there, apparently.
So guys, we do have enough time for the bonus topic,
Okay,
and
cool.
this one frustrates the hell out of me. I love Capcom. I love
Boy,
them.
here
They've
we
done
go.
some good work, but they've also done some skeevy things. So recently, and I can't even tell you who said this, but it's someone from Capcom. They basically said
I'm ready.
someone was asking about Devil May Cry port, okay, and bringing it over to the Switch, and if they should or not. And he says, well, basically, we're gonna look at the sales of, was it Dragon's Dogma?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna look
Yeah.
at the sales of Dragon's Dogma, and based off those sales, we might think about a Devil May Cry port. Oh man, I'm gonna start with Bad Bit over here. I think you're gonna have a different perspective because Sony doesn't really have a problem with getting third-party games.
Yeah, man. I mean, so it's really weird, and I'm not. First off, it's weird. I don't like when I see games that are like years old, like we're seeing with the Resident Evil series coming on the Switch, and they're at premium markup prices. That's stupid to me. I hate seeing that happen. It frustrates the hell out of us, the hardcore, the people that are watching this. It sucks. You don't want it. I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same exact time, it just kind of shows that as long as you buy these games, guys, they'll keep making them. They'll keep making them these absorbent prices because to them it's whatever because they know you're going to buy it anyway. And so when it comes to like, yeah, we'll maybe put Devil May Cry 5 on the Nintendo Switch, but you got to buy Dragon's Dogma first. That's a very clouded statement, and I would love
Which
to
are
see
two completely different games.
two very completely games. But I think when you're looking, if I'm Capcom, if I ran Capcom, I'm looking at, okay, how does my big game sell, and how do my ports sell, like of previous, like again the Resident Evil series? How well does that sell? How do our smaller titles sell on this? Um, they're telling you that because it probably costed them an arm and a leg to get this game out to begin with. Again, I'm reaching here when I'm asking this too, but they also, I'm assuming that there is something, an outside force telling them that, yeah, this isn't just an easy print money, if you bring it on the Switch game, right? Some outside source is telling them that. It's kind of like with Neo on the PlayStation 4. It's a Souls-like game from Team Ninja, right? The guys that are making the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. A lot of Xbox players are like, why isn't that game on our console? Why is it a PlayStation exclusive? And they're like, we'll say you want it. And they're like, but we want it. Like, marketing and research shows otherwise. And so there's something that we don't see that they see that's telling them that Devil May Cry may not sell as well as they think it is. Now, maybe with Astral Chain that comes out, looks dope. If that game sells like gangbusters, then maybe they'll.
That's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying.
No?
Let me no.
Joe, you're being nice
this
on
is
this one, man.
ridiculous. This is
am
no.
I being
Because
nice
here's
or
the
what?
deal. Right now, straight up, I've said this on
I'm
Nintendo
sorry.
PlayStation podcast earlier today. If you're listening to this, please don't buy this game. Don't buy either game.
Yeah.
Stop supporting Capcom. Straight up. This archaic BS. Listen, they pulled this shit already a couple of times with Nintendo fans. I'm sorry. I was told that if I didn't buy a crap version of Street Fighter for the Switch, that they wouldn't bring Mega Man Legacy over here. So what did I do? I go and I buy it, and then what do they say? Oh, we're still examining. We're not sure. Okay,
Exactly,
so then they bring out Mega Man Collection finally, and now they're doing. And then what do? They bring out a better version of Street Fighter, a collection. So you want me to now go buy that again? Capcom is so out of touch with reality and just ridiculous anymore. This nonsense needs to stop. Most companies are saying that the Switch version of their games is selling the best. So why all of a sudden are you looking at this and going like, well, we don't know? Because here's the thing. You're not going to tell me I got to go buy this dogma garbage in order for you to just go, we'll think about bringing it to the Switch now. F you, man.
Yeah,
F you. Either you commit to us or we don't commit to you. Because here's the thing. Ubisoft did this. EA did this. All these companies did this on the Wii U. I lived during that time where they were bringing us trash ports and then having the balls to blame the Nintendo fans that we don't buy games on there. I was told that I don't buy third-party games. That's why I get Mass Effect 3, while Xbox and Sony get the Mass Effect trilogy. And I got to pay the same price as they're paying for all 3 games, and I only get 1 game. But I don't buy anything other than Nintendo games. I was told by Ubisoft that I had to help Nintendo sell more consoles and sell more third-party games before they would bring a game that's needed or a game that's built for a Nintendo community to the Wii U, which they never brought out. I was told by EA that we didn't buy games. That's why they're not bringing Madden to the Switch. That's why they're not bringing other games to the Switch. F these third parties. Do you want to know why you're failing? It's because of bullshit CEOs that make this nonsense decisions. We'll take a $13 million bonus and lay off 800 people. And then you're going to tell me, as a fan, I got to buy more games in order to fund you?
Aldi, calm down. You're starting to talk.
Right there. I'm out, man.
No,
Down with the bourgeoisie.
I'm
Let's
done,
go,
man.
guys. Let's
especially
go.
especially the fact that Devil May Cry is a brand new game,
Yeah.
and Dragon's Dogma is what? Like, it's pretty old.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not defending Capcom. I don't buy any of these because they're way too much money, dude.
Yeah.
They're stupid expensive. Like, the only one I bought was Skyrim, and I immediately regretted it. Like, even seeing Doom, and it was like still $60 when that game came out. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, dude. It's $60, but no, I paid 40, maybe 30. It's games old, right? And I mean, like, listen, when it's old games, old type of nonsense. But like, I understand the frustration. Don't buy Dragon's Dogma because like all these companies are going to say the same thing over and over. Is that Again, there is something that we don't see that they do. That their games.
But Joe, just say that. Just say that. Don't lie. Don't blame it on us. Don't blame us.
That's what I'm saying.
Just full disclosure. Just go, hey man, this is why we're not going to bring it because you don't buy these particular types of games. Don't sit here and tell me that I don't support the console because I already did it for your piece of crap Street Fighter game. Like.
This is how you do it, Pat. This is how you really poke the bear.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, this is how you do it. No, but the other thing is, this is all because we might bring it over if Dragon's Dogma sells. By the time they actually get the port up and running, Devil May Cry is going to be $20 on PS4. It just doesn't make sense.
That's the thing. That's the thing that aggravates me with you Nintendo folk. Is like these games are so much cheaper. Why are you continuously buying these really expensive ports? Because if you weren't, they either two things happen. Yeah, they would stop. Like LA Noire was like $60 when it came out, like something ridiculous, right? if we didn't buy that game, there's this promise, this dangling on the stick of like, well, if you get this game, GTA might happen.
I've never heard that on any other console. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
And it's bizarre.
nuts.
It's because I have no idea.
Here's the
Like,
company. Here's the company I respect. Here's the company I'll continue to buy games for through and through.
Tell me.
Square Enix, because they're not telling me that I gotta buy. They're not saying to me that I have to buy Final Fantasy VII in order for them to bring Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Switch. They're saying, let us sell the game on the other consoles first that we build it for, and then we're going to take a hard look at it and see if we can make it work. I respect that. They're not telling me, hey, go buy these other games we just put on the Switch, and then maybe we'll bring it over there. You're lying to me, man. Yeah. And I don't support that type of business.
No,
and Joe,
I agree.
Joe brings up a good point. If people didn't buy them, then they would stop not defending it. Just states the facts. It's a lose-lose situation, which is actually
he's the biggest issue. How many times he loves Capcom? How many times he going to buy Resident Evil? Like, come on, Joe.
Yeah, why aren't you here?
Come on, Joe.
Listen, release the Disney Afternoon Collection, you cowards.
That's another one. Like, seriously. Like, that was one.
They're NES games.
And people screamed for them. And they're like, no, we're not going to bring them. What? Why?
I don't know.
Let me guess. They don't have a cartridge big enough to fit all 4 games on one thing, right? Is that the problem?
Nah, it's probably licensed.
No, it's probably their BS company.
They just released
them on Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah.
Really? Okay, then all right. Then down with the bourgeoisie, guys. Okay, I got my listen. You want me to get my mask? I'll go get my mask. We'll start this fire.
Listen, Joe. I'm waiting for a sale. Don't try it after work. You know what? You bought Resident Evil 2 remake and all these games. Like, all they say is Resident and Evil, and he gets the cold sweats and the shakes, and he's like just throwing money at the screen.
Like when I see most Nintendo ports, right? Like, I don't buy them day one. No, like Hyrule Warriors. No. Do I look ugly? Yes, I do. But like, no, I'm not gonna be caught dead buying that for $60, $40, a game 3-4 years old. I'm not gonna do that. Are you kidding me? Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is $20 on the Wii U. I gotta buy it for $60 on the Switch. Why? Stupid. But then again,
would you stop? They put Funky Kong in that thing. Come on, stop it.
That's true. Funky Kong in it. They'll probably be Labo support. You guys will eat it up. You know?
Just like imagine if there was like a situation where Sony players were like threatened they wouldn't get a game if they didn't buy another one. It's just so weird to think of it in another light.
I don't think it's ever happened.
No,
I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't know. Yeah, Sony sees an opportunity to sell something. I don't give a crap. Look at the PlayStation Classic. Look at that beautiful failure. Where is it? Right here? Piece of shit.
I got one. I'm waiting to mod
I'm not even touching that thing, man. That thing is.
It's not worth $20.
Guys, we're about to head out, but we have one more giveaway. I need to. Everyone that wants to enter the giveaway, put a 1 in the chat. I'm going to read about this game, which Bobby covered a little bit. 12 is better than 6. So you guys can win this game. It is a hand-drawn Western themed shooter. It's really good. It's really good, guys. It's like black, white, and red are the only colors in there. So yeah, if you want to enter the giveaway, put a 1 in the chat.
You're not included Bad Bit, so stop it.
What? I'll include anyone.
Bad Bit's not eligible.
I mean, he doesn't have a lot of
eligible. He's not eligible. You can't let people on the show.
I have a crap ton, dude. I have a crap ton. I mean, I haven't bought a lot this year, but yeah.
The only game that's important is Fortnite. The rest of them are just, whatever.
So yeah, I'll give you guys a couple minutes. If there's only 3 of you, then you'll have to fight it out to death.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game.
What are you talking about? There's only 3 you have to fight it out. What are you talking about?
I told them to put 1 in the chat if they wanted to enter.
So there's 3 people. What are you talking about to fight it out?
I don't know, Bobby.
What are you talking about? You're confusing me, man.
It's the sundown disease.
All right. Okay. So I see 3. So how are we gonna do this, Bobby? How are we gonna do this? Because my method sucked earlier.
Dude, you pick a number. Text me a number between 1 and 1,000. Let the people pick. Whoever's the closest win. Done. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel, man?
Put 69 in the chat.
All right, 1 through. Okay, there's only 3 people, so I'll do 1
Let
through 10.
anybody do it.
Bobby,
Anybody that wants the game, put a number between 1 and whatever. Don't do this stupid math thing again.
I just put it in the Discord.
Why would you
put it in the Discord?
I can't
Bobby.
open Discord. If I open Discord, it messes up the video. I said text it to me, man. You have my phone number. Just text me the number.
I'm gonna leak Bobby's number so you can all call him.
In the face.
This is a lot of silence I'm hearing so far.
It's okay.
So do you have like a segment where you guys run into
Oh my God, Pat, what's wrong with you? So what are we going between 1 and what?
I'll do that.
All right,
10.
1 and 10. What are you doing?
1 and 10.
It's your show. It's your show. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
Why is this all being questioned?
Know, man. Just do what you gotta do, man.
Okay. So I texted it to Bobby. I think
I got the number. I got the number.
It's
just, whatever. Go ahead.
Okay.
Run your show.
But yeah, this is our new format for PNP, ending on a beautiful explosion. So yeah, we're gonna be doing 2-hour shows every single Sunday. We'll be having another guest on. We'll probably release who the guest is like a day before. But yeah, thank you guys very much for joining this episode. Thank you very much, Babbitt. Where can they find you, man?
So listen, you can send me all your Labo death threats over at Badbit Games over there on Twitter, or Mr. Badbit over there on YouTube, or Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can find the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players that debuts each and every Thursday on iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get an RSS feed, it's there. I got a secret project I can't talk a lot about, but I'm very excited. So there. Oh yeah, we're also doing a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice giveaway. All you got to do is follow PS Trophy Room on Twitter, like and retweet the pin tweet, get a copy of one of the best games of this generation. Look at that, Bloodborne. Huh? Look at that. Remember that? From Software.
Aren't we just a generous bunch of dudes?
We're very generous.
And then Mr. Barbarino, NintendoGurus.com. I don't have to say it. You guys have been watching us for 70. Bobby, do we have a winner?
I don't know. Nobody picked numbers, man. Oh, Luke Lore. Luke Lore.
Okay.
Everybody put rigged in the chat.
Rigged.
No, look it up there. The number was 2. He texted me the number 2. And Luke said 2.
What the laziest giveaway I've ever seen in my life.
See?
Did you really?
He texted me number 2.
Yep.
That's
Luke Lore picked 2.
Literally the worst. Again, that's Sekiro giveaway.
That's the dumbest way. Whatever, man. All right, that is all. Peace out, Preston. We're out. Get the giveaways given out.
Bye, guys.